Numbers. Jerry Rottenberg is with me. Good evening, Jerry. Well, first of all, do you agree with our preliminary analysis, a green and two reds?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think Goldman had great numbers across the board. You can look deep in to find out the weak points, but you have to realize now that with the competitors being eliminated, both Goldman and JP Morgan have really dominance in the U.S. market.
So tell me, how did they do it? How did they make the money? Don't please just say trading and investment. What were they doing that made the money?
Well, it wasn't one specific thing that they make the money on. I think it really is a competition elimination question here. A lot of the largest players in the market are not there anymore. A lot of liquidity is taken out of the system so that, you know, really there's only a couple of people versus 2 years ago there might have been 5 or 6 or 7 large providers. European banks have pulled back from markets, and you know, in the U.S. banks have consolidated. So if you're a big counterparty that wants to deal with a big bank, you really can only go to 1 or 2 places.
They used their own money for a lot of the stuff, didn't they? They used their own money, but if you look at the M&A, if you look at the investment banking, in fact, if you look at all the other aspects of Goldman, and I'm trying not to be dog in the manger about it, but the numbers were lower.
Well, I think you have to look at some businesses in terms of mergers and acquisitions. It was lower across the board in anything. That's actually driven beyond Goldman Sachs' control. What they do have control over, however, is the risk of their trading, their ability to understand the markets and position themselves correctly.
People watching us tonight will say JP Morgan Chase made a bundle. Even Citigroup pulled back from terrible losses into profit. Is there not something a little bit offensive about banks making vast sums of money after we've bailed them out and barely out of recession?
Well, I think you're looking at the difference between Wall Street and Main Street, and this is an issue that's going to come up towards the end of the year, that while Wall Street can continue to make money even in good times and bad times...
But they're doing it on our money. They're borrowing cheap central bank funds, and they're lending expensive.
You know, they are not in control of how they borrow. The governments around the world have supplied the credit, you know, to them. You know, they haven't dictated where interest rates have been. So if you're trying to figure out, okay, where is this easy money coming from? It's coming from the governments. It's not coming from each other. And so I think what you're really going to see is going forward, there is going to be public, you know, concern about the difference between Wall Street and Main Street, which is going to be a real question that needs to be answered.
2 to 1 on the Q25. It's early days.
Yes.
Any care to take a guess how we're going to end up at the end of it all?
I think we'll have more greens than we will reds.
I know. I think we'll have to let some of the air out of the balloons. Jerry, many thanks indeed. Thank you very much. Now, the European stock markets.